Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy for series. What's this, Friday? Yeah, it's Friday. Happy Friday. It is July 23rd, 2021, and we're going to play some 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons tonight. At least that's the plan. We've got a no-show, and we're tracking them down with no response yet. And we have an excused party member, so Robin is excused. But maybe we'll just pick up those two characters and run them.
Can?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll play. I'll play the halfling.
Play the halfling.
Yeah, I think I can get mad. Yeah.
All right, they have been released.
Characters. Tarian the Barbarian.
Who would like to play Sven?
I should have.
All right.
I should have played the customer support bot because if Jeremiah shows up, then I didn't have to. But that's okay.
That's the easy one.
Right.
He's a fighter. I attack. I attack. I attack.
I miss. I do. I miss. Do. Well, go ahead there, Manikiri. Take her away.
All right. So welcome to session 19. This is session 19 of Empire of the Ghouls. And we're going to have some fun here. Just kind of a brief recap of where you guys were last time. You guys had made it to Jost and met with everybody that you needed to meet with, including all of the important people at the Temple of Sif, and leveled up to level 5. And just as you were about to head out, you were asked by the High Priestess there to check out what was going on in Carvolia as you headed down on your way to Yarrowsburg. So show you here on a map what
On a map.
you guys are. Zoom in up there in the north end. You guys have left Jost and started heading south. You are now traveling through Krakovar, which is the uh, country that is ruled by undead, mostly vampires. And they were helped out in conquering this area by the ghouls, which you guys have been interacting with. And at the end of last session, you guys finally traveled, 3 or so days and ended up on the outskirts of Krakovar. So I'm going to rewind just a little bit and go through a little better description than I gave last time. The small village of Carvolia is nestled in a forest and is near some large hills. The village lies about 3 days or so south of Jost, and it's along the road to Wallenberg. From the outside, the town looks peaceful. There's not a lot of activity visible. with a number of buildings that are there. You estimate there's probably somewhere around 300 people that live here permanently. There's no wall and no obvious defenses anywhere visible in the town. Um, After watching the activity, the town appears to be a logging town, and you can see the occasional wagons come from small trails hauling logs to a dock located here. And you can see the trees and stuff being loaded into the river to be floated downriver. Uh, the river branches off towards the southeast, and overlooking the town is a large cliff, kind of in the viewpoint of when you're looking at this map of Carvolia. Overlooking the town is a large cliff topped with a large edifice of stone that resembles a huge mausoleum. Kind of looks like that. And it seems to watch over the village like an evil gargoyle or something. It's a very oppressive feeling coming from the place. And there is a well-traveled path that leads out of the village and up towards the cliff top. You guys slept outside of town this last evening. You should have all had a long rest. Um, and what would you like to do?
So what was Quint able to find when he searched out the city? I don't remember the village.
Or
Did
did
you
I?
go? I don't think you guys searched the village at all. You discussed it and then backed away a little bit and then slept over the night.
Yeah, I think we did like a perimeter check, and then found a place early and camped.
Did
So we
you want to
haven't
check
actually been
daytime,
into
night
town.
time?
Well, if Quint's going into town, he would prefer to go into town in darkness, because then he would be virtually invisible, you know. Especially with his cloak of elven kind on. He could sneak around town. Um, I, I would assume I would, if I did sneak into town, that I would just get a general layout of the town. This is barracks over here.
No, that's a stables where the horses and stuff were kept. There's no fortifications, no defenses visible of any kind. You
And
don't
then
see you don't see anything that looks even close to military.
and then there's just people milling about like in the evening doing evening things. Like,
Yeah, people going out cooking, and there's a small number visiting the one tavern that you see in the town. But really, it's not a whole lot of activity. Um, there's a few farmers that have little fields that they use for food, and the occasional person rides through with a wagon, trades and whatnot. But it's not busy at all.
the the thing up on the hill, the mausoleum thing.
Mhm.
I'm gonna. He would have done a closer inspection of that, like around the outside, see if there was windows, if there was lights on.
Okay, in order to get up there, you're going to have to travel along the path that goes up to the mausoleum.
I'll fly up there.
You'll fly. Okay. No problem then. You fly on up. The mausoleum looks large. It's made out of stone, as I described. There are no windows in the mausoleum at all, and you do not see any light like around the door or anything like that. Um, Give me a perception check.
Quint.
It's dark, so you'll have disadvantage with your dark vision.
Hold on, I've done the perception, which I am disadvantaged. Up. Still
Okay,
gotta.
yeah, you don't see anything.
I try to listen then.
You try to
Do I hear
listen.
anything?
Mausoleum. I don't even have to roll for that. You do not hear anything at the mausoleum. You listen in at the walls and whatnot. You can't hear anything.
And is there any indication of any kind of entrances on the roof?
No, there are no indications of entrances on the roof. Just the large main front door. Uh, there is like the pathway seems to be well traveled. It seems like there's been quite a few people come and go.
So I'll try to find a good spot to hide to see the front door somewhere. I mean, and
Okay.
I want to spend an hour watching the door, and then if I don't see anything, I'll go back to the campsite.
All right. You sit there for an hour, and the doors don't open. You don't hear a thing. There's no light, coming in from around the doors at all. It's just dead silent.
But it looks heavily traveled, right? So
The pathway, so like there's no weeds in the roadway. It looks like there's been lots of people. There's footprints that come and go, some of them rather large.
he's not very good at survival. I mean, I'll take a peek at it, but and since I don't have a light source, I'm going to give myself disadvantage because it seems only fair. Yeah,
Yep.
that's a big footprint. I don't know what it is, but it could be.
No, it's kind of too big to be human, but beyond that, not really sure.
So I'll go back to the party and I'll report that I have found out absolutely nothing.
You didn't find out nothing. You found out that things aren't going in and out as rapidly as you might have thought.
Yeah, you've been finding out nothing is something, right?
I was hoping to find the blood maker, whatever her name is, Sister Ardalin, or there's too many sisters around here.
Well, you're in the area of the goddess of Morena, the Red Sister.
I do
So
have
all of her called sister.
I do have a holy symbol of hers in my inventory, by the way.
Yeah. Sister Alcava is the name that you were given.
Alcava, yeah, that's it. So good morning, everyone. I didn't bring you breakfast, but I think the inn might have pancakes.
Yeah. I mean, if this is where this blood priestess is that we're looking for, it's not like they're gonna hang up a big sign that says "Stay away." The blood priestess lives here. Like, of course, it's gonna be a regular looking village, right?
Right.
So, all I'm saying is, I don't know. Maybe we should just go into town and check things out.
I mean, do they have travelers?
How long are you going to watch to see if you see travelers?
Well, I mean, we've kind of been here for like 12 hours now. Have
You've
we
seen
seen?
people pass through the town. There's not like I said, there's not a lot of heavy traffic, but there is people that pass through the town. You see people on wagons, the occasional peddler or tinkerer that comes through town and sells stuff and then moves on.
So
But
that's the question that Quint has. How obvious do we want to be?
Well, if any of us go down into town, we're gonna stand out.
Especially as a group. We might as well just land our spaceship in the square and walk into the tavern. I mean, Quint's about it.
Tyrion and Sir Tegas are about the only closest thing to quote unquote normal, and he's a halfling barbarian, and I'm a fully garbed, shining knight. so I agree. I say we just go. I say we just go around, or just go to the mausoleum and burn it down.
Tyrion's like, I'm okay with that.
If we go during the day, looking at this book that I have on the undead, during the day, a lot of the creatures of the night should be resting. So in theory, it might be easier to attack them during the day.
Blink like shields his eyes from the sun, and he's like, maybe for you.
And Quint's like already got his hood up and he's already under their shade.
We're going to be inside the mausoleum. We're not going to be outside.
Yeah, Quint does say he didn't see any winders. I don't see any winders in the place.
Oh yeah, I like that. Let's go check that out then.
All right, you guys want to head on up then?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Let's do that. Let's just go up there. Try to kind of sneak up.
Okay. Heading up the pathway. There's kind of one main pathway that heads up it through the heavily wooded area and takes you up to the top of the cliff area where the mausoleum is.
Yeah, like Quint find a good spot as a lookout, like up on a tree or something if he has to, and then he'll signal them when he thinks it's clear to move up, like so no one's watching him. Try to help them stealth up, anyways.
Give me a second to add you all to a map.
Where did the Carvolia map come from? Did you make that?
No,
Or
I
is that-
found it using the magic of Google.
It looks like the same program that Marvania uses.
I don't even know what program it was made with.
Fantasy Grounds has a lot of this similar stuff now in some of the city map packs and stuff, but there's just a few things like the fields and things like that that it doesn't have. So
And it's not quite
not
so. You're not going to
Fantasy
find
Grounds.
so many isometric
Right.
buildings. I mean, there are a few, but this is a lot of isometric buildings. Like all of them are.
And so Quint, as you are kind of scouting ahead, one of the things you see, there's not even trying to hide, but standing in the middle of the road behind kind of a large pile of logs is a oversized kind of humanoid looking thing. And you see this, it looks kind of like an ogre you've heard stories of, except it is undead. And it's standing there. Yes, it's standing there right on the other side of there and is looking kind of towards down the pathway. I'm going to assume you guys, the rest of you, are not quite on the map, but Quint is scouting up ahead, and then going to report back to you. But it's standing there with a large club in his hands and just seems to be waiting.
Yeah, so Quinta, where they're hiding down below the hill, will sneak back over to them and tell them that there's a blurry, big humanoid way out in the bright ass blurry sunshine. Because I have blurry daylight sensitivity, and my head hurts right now because he's way the blurry hell over there. Blurry.
Is it, you have disadvantage in sunlight on perception and disadvantage in darkness because of dark vision?
Probably. I just screwed all around. That's why I have a +7 in perception, because I've gotten good at it. And he'll explain the terrain to him and see what their thoughts are. How do you guys want to approach this? You just guys want to run up the hill, say charge, or do you want to try to sneak up on this thing, or?
I don't know. Is it even worth trying to talk to it, or not?
I'm not sure if it still has its tongue. It could have rotted out of its mouth.
That's very true.
Or
It's
could have chewed it up?
undead, most likely. I mean, I'm not super into undead. I don't have a. I pointed the paladin's book he's been reading. I'm not an expert on undead, but you can't usually communicate with them very well, especially dumb ones like ogres.
I do have to agree with our shifty friend. He's ogres are not very smart in life. So even if he had his full intelligence that he had in life, don't know that we would have very good conversation.
And stupid line of sight
But I would
measurements.
say Sir Tegas, Tyrion, and the customer bot can walk down the middle of the street. If the other two of you wish to sneak around the hills or go together around one of the hills,
All right, the tokens are not locked. If you guys want to move your tokens around, let me know what you're doing.
I think Quint's going to try to be under this tree in the dim light.
Okay.
That's where he wants to start. So, I mean, he'll come around and stealth up to get under the tree from this direction,
and as we're looking at the logs, I know we're 100 feet away, but it's daylight. Is it anything beyond difficult terrain, or is it like 5 feet high, or?
No. It's just
Stop
several logs.
wagons and stuff.
Yeah, stop wagons and stuff from passing. They look like the ogre could easily move them.
Now Blink doesn't want to try to sneak around. If you guys are going up the path, he's going with you guys. He's just going to stick to to one of the sides so he can be in the shade a little bit.
Didn't you get a parasol in town?
It's a sun hat, actually.
So we'll wait like a slow count of 100 for Quint to get set up.
Okay.
And then we'll go forward.
All right. So as you guys proceed forward, let's say you get to kind of where you're at right now, in visible range of the ogre, and the ogre, picks up his head and looks at you, and he smashes his club down on the ground, smashes it down again, and then holds his hand up and smashes his club down on the ground again.
Tyrion says I think he doesn't like support bots.
Use your words.
Smashes the ground again.
So
yeah.
the support bot will have his crossbow out, and Tyrion only has javelins, correct?
Yeah.
I think so.
Sure.
All right, so
Hand axes too. Hand axes.
he'll turn to Blink. You have a short bow or crossbow?
I have a crossbow.
And he'll point to the rocks over here, just ahead of you. Say, when you are on rock, I will start shooting. Bring him to us.
The ogre points with his club down at the line of logs, and he kind of follows it with his club, and then he raises his hand again and then smashes it on the ground.
Okay, so we're all looking at Blink.
Sorry, your earlier question about a crossbow. I do have a crossbow, but he's not using it right now. He has his wand out, ready to go.
Can you shoot from this range, from those rocks? Use them as cover?
I hate how small the number is when you target things far away in Fantasy Grounds
It
now.
sucks.
Yes, I can target him from here. So yeah, blink.
75.
Yeah.
How did you get it to do big like that?
Draw a pointer, and it's much bigger than if you target.
Oh,
Yeah.
this is true.
All right, so once Blink gets there, customer support bot raises crossbow and starts shooting.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and do this then.
I think Tyrion's gonna pull out a javelin and get ready to chuck it.
Don't go too far, little one. Let him come to us.
I think he wants us over the logs. He keeps pointing at the logs.
And I have I draw out my long curved blade. Set it point down in front of me. My hands on it.
All right. Blink will pop up from behind this rock and shoot a firebolt at this thing.
All right. How did you have disadvantage?
Because I'm in sunlight.
Right.
Yep. So as he shoots off this firebolt, you see the runes that he has etched into his wand glow, and he does an extra 1d8 damage.
Oh, nice. As this blast of fire hits the ogre zombie, he looks up and he just he looks thoroughly pissed right now.
Oh, I think I made him mad, guys.
Customer support bot will raise a crossbow.
Why did he have disadvantage? Long range.
Oh,
Gotcha.
range is 80. Okay. Where is he? He is 90. Okay.
Oh, he's
So
still
then he
hit.
will
So
roll
Still
for
hit.
damage.
Ogres with their super high AC.
great.
You're gonna slide up a little bit. If you wish to file a complaint, please fill it out in triplicate, and I will be sure to turn it into the proper authorities as he shoots again.
I missed that reward. Something for the zombie, but I didn't see what it was.
It was Clyde.
Clyde for the zombie?
Yeah.
All right. All right, ogre. The ogre picks up his large weapon and starts rushing. Oh, come on. And hit the right button.
It's alt now.
No, it's I have to have token lock.
Oh, yeah, that helps too.
Yeah, it took me like half an hour to figure out that the other day. I was like, why can't I get it? Never mind, I'm just gonna not worry about it. I finally figured it out. Oh, it's the token lock.
And he runs up here, and it looks like he's heading straight for Blink. And he's got this large club, and you can see it's got these giant spikes kind of sticking out the end of the club all around it, pounded like nails have been pounded through long, thick nails. And he comes rushing forward right towards you, screaming the entire way. But he can't quite make it to you.
Quint is going to ready his shot. So if somebody gets into melee, he'll have sneak attack. Sneak attack. But he has to be. Is he not in bright light right now?
He is in bright light.
Huh?
He is in sunlight. Yes.
Oh, I thought I was under the tree.
You are not. You are in under a tree. You're hard to really call it dim light. It's in the middle of the day. Even under a tree, I mean, it'd have to be a pretty big tree to make it truly dim light. But so I'm going to say it's still
Oh,
sunlight.
that sucks. Yeah, because it clarifies it. You have disadvantage on attack rolls on wisdom perception checks that rely on sight. When you, the target of your attack, or whatever you are trying to perceive is in direct sunlight. So, damn
Yeah,
it.
it is definitely in sunlight.
So I'm gonna have disadvantage anyways. So I'm gonna try my distracting shot then. As an action, make a single attack with your bow. You intentionally miss your target. Yeah. Oh, that's not the one I want. I want the trick shot. I'm sorry, trick shot. Yeah. So disadvantage shot with the bow on the ogre is a hit. So I crit.
He has a massively high AC of 8.
Right.
So I'm not sure if it's possible for you to miss other than a natural 1.
13 points. And that's it. That's all he's going to do.
All right.
So I'm going to run up, and as I run up, you see the blade start glowing slightly as I cast Divine Favor upon it. And then I'll slash at him twice. It is time for you to remove yourself, to be removed from this earth.
Nice. You cleave kind of right through his gut. These rotten, putrid guts start pouring out.
So you see a lot of the, still a little jerky, but as I'm doing the exact maneuvers I've been trying to drill into myself these last week or so, couple weeks, but slowly starting to loosen up, get used to the blade as it slices into him twice.
Well, since Tyrion had this javelin out, I guess he's just going to chuck it at the ogre. Maximum damage with it.
Chuck this
And
javelin.
then he's going to pull out his battle axe, and I don't think he's going to rage yet. That thing looks pretty beat up. And he's going to pass his turn. The cannon.
So now the first couple swings are down, sort of settles in, starts letting his reflexes take over as he watches where this thing is swinging his club.
All right, so describe this to me.
So as this thing goes to shift its gaze from Blink to Sir Tegas, he's starts to raise his club, and I'm watching him as he's moving judging where he's going, and I'm able to then sort of almost in a fluid, almost like a dance, react to his movement to match my movement to his, as my blade swiftly flies out, and it's very fast, not like a two-handed sword or great sword or anything, even faster than a long sword. It's just a very thin blade. It just slices, um, making these shallower but long slices up and down and then he eventually steps back as it collapses.
All right, yeah. So as this giant ogre zombie kind of falls forward onto the ground, there's this putrid, gross stuff kind of pouring out of all of the wounds that you guys have managed to inflict on it. His giant club kind of falls to the floor, and on his back, there's this large lump that wriggles and writhes and is moving, and it pops open, and coming out of the back of this thing is a monkey. And he looks around, and he doesn't have any shit in his hands, so he starts scooping up parts of the ogre, part of the ichor, and he starts throwing that instead. And since Tegas is right up in his face, he gets the major brunt of it, and it kind of stains his beautiful clerical robes brown, as you've been visited by Clyde, the not this time poofling monkey. And very quickly, he tries to dive back into the ogre and starts crawling back down inside and disappears.
That was brought to you by Caesar in the chat. Yeah. Caesar in the chat.
Thank you, Caesar. And
Thank
with
you,
that, we are
Caesar.
I'm going to delete that. So you have a dead ogre. You notice the sky is getting a little bit darker clouds, and you think it's going to start raining here pretty soon. It's fairly warm, but you think it's going to start raining here pretty soon.
Does that mean it doesn't count as direct sunlight anymore?
Yeah, it won't be direct sunlight, but it'll be heavy rain.
So two of us are happy. I think the one that's probably the most disappointed is customer support bot that has to oil himself after the rainstorm.
Got to keep the rust out.
So let's
Well, somebody should
let's keep
check
going.
this ogre and see if it has anything. I
Yeah,
nominate
Quinta,
customer support bot.
I do too. Since his character's not here, or his
I don't want to
player's not
touch it.
here.
Doesn't he have a pole arm?
Glaive, yes. Poke, poke. So Tegas is going to be, he's standing there, and you see him sort of mentally replaying the fight and the moves he made, and he's going through thinking, this is his first time he's actually used this blade, just thinking to himself what would have been better, how well, this worked really well. Was it the best way to do it? That type of thing. Trying to remember exactly what he did, that type of, and how it felt when it sliced through the flesh, because he's not used to that type of stuff. And then after about 3 to 5 minutes of that, he's then going to clean the blade and move on.
All right. You guys searching the ogre then, or is anybody going to do that?
Yeah, customer service bot will.
Okay. So you search, or customer service bot searches through the body of the ogre and really doesn't find anything. Its clothes are mostly rotted away. It has nothing of value. The weapon that it was holding um, looks like it was pieced together out of garbage. Um, and yeah, this thing looks entirely. It has no treasure, no valuables of any kind.
And Tyrion's like, no, you gotta get in a little deeper. Crawl in there. There's stuff in there. Go on. Kind of helping him in a little, pushing his butt with his foot.
Yeah, you can get shoulder deep and you still won't find anything useful.
Gross. I mean, Blink is dirty, but even he is like, no.
Even Blink has standards.
Well, on the social level, Blink is above the support pod, so.
That's why he keeps trying to order it around.
This is a
It
nice map.
doesn't listen, but
Oh,
I hate
I
to
like
leave it so
this map.
soon, but we will then move on.
Yeah.
it may come up.
So yeah, we go up the hill.
All right, so you head on up the hill, and you get up to the hill, and you see the mausoleum, as I showed you before.
On
It's this
top of the
large stone
hill.
structure, and the road kind of goes right up to the main door. The two large braziers outside are empty and unlit. Um, or maybe a little bit of water pooled into the bottom. It doesn't look like it's been lit in some time.
Quinta, go up to the door now and listen.
Okay, give me a perception check.
Uh, right there. Quint's like, my ears are got water in them.
You listen at the door, and the only thing you can hear is Blink farting.
I
sorry.
think you need to double check that. Have support bot crawl around in there.
Is there anything on the door? Like what does the door look like? Is it just plain wood or
Does it have
Uh,
these symbols on it?
yeah, there's designs on the door. Um, so the door itself is stone, and you can tell that it's on hinges. Um, and there is designs on the doorway. Give me a religion check. Anybody who would like to.
Uh, uh,
Okay, yeah, that's plenty good enough. You've seen similar looking designs to this. It's the designs of Marena. I mean, these are some of the symbols that are used by the goddess Marena,
is
the
there a
one who.
door handle or?
Yeah. There's a large kind of steel door handle that you can tell would open. I mean, most mausoleums aren't like locked and whatnot.
Right, so it doesn't look like there's a keyhole or anything. It just looks like there's a
No,
handle.
keyhole. And there's
Oh,
no portcullis or anything else blocking it. There's no bars or anything. It's just this large stone door.
well, I would say we should knock, but I think if anybody answers, that's a bad sign, right?
yeah. Let me check it over. See if there's a trap or anything on it. Quint wants to investigate it. See if there's a trap or anything on it.
Okay. Go ahead and give
Uh,
me an investigation check.
I probably should be doing this. So he looks around and sniffs
And he can't even tell there's a door there.
and I think this whole thing is one big panel.
I think somebody painted this door on. It's not really a door.
Searching the brazier.
I have a
Yeah.
gnat in my eye, I think.
But you do not find any traps on this thing.
This doesn't appear to be trapped.
And you can't see the hinges. You assume the hinges are on the other side of the door as it
I don't even
goes.
know that this is a door. I think it's.
Yeah, you think it's like a fruitcake or something.
I think Tarian would get kind of rambunctious and just push the door open.
Okay. You guys go ahead and push the door open, and it swings open silently. There's not even a creak or a groan as this giant door slides open.
Tyrion's like,
And
whoa, 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 as it starts to get out of his grip a little.
we're going to pretend you guys are just outside that door rather than right in the door where you appear. And can you all see?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah. It's completely pitch black in here. You don't see any light whatsoever. Um,
I can't see myself.
So I have my lantern of revealing. I'm going to take out.
well, that would be because I didn't add you to the. Somehow Blink. There's Blink. There. Now you should be able to see yourself.
There we go. Thanks.
I'm going to take out my lantern of revealing. Um, so there are two things I had wanted to ask about, but I forgot. So I don't know if we can retcon this or I'll just mention it and we can talk about it later. I'll bring it up now. I have a buckler. And I've had a buckler all along. Nurian hook is a one-handed weapon. But as a buckler, just a small thing. I think it gives me a +1. Am I able to use my buckler with the Tegas?
That's a two-handed weapon, isn't it?
Correct.
Then no, you wouldn't be able to.
Okay, didn't think so. And then, would it be possible for Blink? He said he would, if you would allow him to make something similar to like a walking stick that would, if you bang it, it will 3 or 4 legs would pop out at the bottom, so it would freestand with a hook, so I could put the hanger, the lantern on. So
We
think
can
about
have
it and let us know.
some crafting check at some point, but it
Yeah,
shouldn't.
I figure with like the artificer jury rig ability, it might take a couple hours to make something like that. So
Yeah, next time you have a long rest, you should be able to make something like that.
Yeah, I meant to talk about while we were traveling. I kept reminding myself, and then I forgot.
why don't you just put
So I
a
have my
hook on the
lamp.
back of the robot? Just on the back of his head. Hang it on there.
Yeah,
Apply the
just
lantern.
flatten his head. We'll put it right on top.
yeah, just tie it on. It'll be fine. He won't care.
Now, how are you doing this with the lantern in one hand and your sword in the other? And then when you want to fight, you're going to drop the lantern, or
That is my intent, yes. And
okay.
we'll see how that plays out. And actually, right now I don't have my blade out,
Okay.
so that way I can use a shuriken if I really want to.
Okay.
Cast a spell, whatever I want to do.
All right. So let me go ahead and describe what you see in this little entry chamber. Tall statues on the right and the left walls, here and over here, portray different aspects of the red goddess. The statue on the right depicts Marena as the goddess of sex and childbirth, showing an alluring temptress, clearly pregnant beneath her filmy gown. The statue on the left represents the goddess as the patron of the realm, a wicked dagger in one hand and a decanter of blood in the other, firmly in control of death and suffering. On the far wall, two small archways stand to each side of a wider, taller archway, revealing corridors that lead deeper into the building. Piles of bones scattered between the two. There are piles of bones scattered between the two statues of Marena.
Uh, that way? Terry to
I'm
move
going
up a
to
little.
say a quick prayer over Quint.
Okay.
Blink wants to take a closer look at this statue that's
From
next to
there
him.
upstairs.
Yeah, from the stairs a little ways away, before he gets really close to inspect it.
Okay. So this one is the statue as I described it. She's holding a dagger and a decanter, and the decanter on the statue is low enough that you can tell there's actually like a reddish liquid in the decanter.
All right. Yeah, Blink wants to know what that is, so he probably has to get closer. He'll go right up to the statue then, and like look at the liquid and kind of sniff at it and see if he can figure out what it is.
Okay. And as you step up to there, we're gonna do this.
And Blink is not paying attention to the rest of the room, obviously, and is just paying attention to this liquid since he rolled a 4.
All right.
Queens, I thought you said you were moving up to examine something.
No,
Or was
that
that Tyrion?
Tyrion.
Ah, oh well, I would have cast it on him. Okay.
Right. Clint, you see Blink step up onto that step up onto the stairs, up into that little raised section. But you don't see anything else going on.
Well, since we've rolled initiative, Quint's kind of ready his bow in case something jumps out.
I figured that's kind of what he was going to do anyway.
Yeah, he's
Always
kind of
be-
gonna do that anyways. Well,
All right, so
Tyrion.
hold on. I need to turn this off. Where did it go? Here we go. All right. So after you sit there and ready, Quint, you see from this pile of bones a skeleton stand up. So your ready to action can go ahead and go.
Twang. One little arrow. One little arrow. Ooh, maximum damage with it though.
Damage. Didn't kill it. Okay. So this skeleton kind of wanders out of the pile and heads over to Blink. Let's move you into a square. And then I don't know how you have a ropey skeleton, but regardless, this ropey skeleton is holding a short sword and he tries to stab you right in the back. He attacked himself. How did that
I'll allow it.
I'll allow it.
happen? That should have been on you. Oh, I gotta-
Can yeah, that's fine. I'm not
All
gonna
right.
do anything.
And so-
72 points of damage.
Right?
Yeah. Max into you for 7, not quite 72, but 7 points of damage, stabbing you right in the back.
Ouch.
And another one climbs up out of the pile.
It looks like Jeremiah's showing up after all.
Oh, did he? Awesome.
Well, he's alive anyways. He just said he home bow. Got stuck in traffic. I think he meant now.
Yeah. And this skeleton comes ambling up to you. And here's my.
Ambling?
Yes.
And Blink points at Tyrion and says, "No, attack that guy."
And swings a short sword at you. Again, smacking you in the back
I should have used shield the first time for another 7. Jeez.
for another 7 points of damage. And you kind of see his jaw clatter together like he's laughing at you. All right, Tyrion.
Hello? Tyrion is gonna get mad, get angry. Hold on. I have to find angry on her. Oh. Kind of hard to have two characters open at the same time. Raging. And it's gonna kind of come running down and then hop up on the top step here and take a swipe at Ropey with his battle axe.
Okay.
Oops. Choppy chop. Nice. And then
Mash this skeleton. His bones start flying everywhere. A couple of finger bones fall into the blood-filled decanter that the statue is holding.
and Tyrion's got 2 attacks, right? Battle 5th level, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And another swipe with the other battle axe, kind of just cleaving through the first skeleton into the second one. And doing some more damage. Nice, maximum. Just
Mowing them down.
and looks over at Blink and says, "Get back a minute."
All right. So as you do that, another one of these stands up right next to Tyrion and jumps on you with a short sword and tries to two-handed stab you in the back with the short sword as you were attacking the others. And you easily dodge out of the way as he completely whiffs it. And another one. Steps up.
Hey, I had a roommate like that.
Like what?
An anxious freeloading stroll.
As this one comes crawling over and tries to take a swipe at your knees.
Those are down there low too.
Yeah, but he's short. He's a little short too, and he does manage to slice you a tiny bit, doing a very light amount of damage.
It's the skeleton of a child, so.
Where's the cannon?
Teenager, kind of
Hey,
12-year-old.
you gonna finish that wineskin? You mind if I have some?
Customer support bot has to make some kind of
So
smart-ass
he
comment.
hasn't joined the table yet, so I'm going to just play him really quick until he's able to.
Premature release. Sorry.
Yes, that was a premature release. So he's going to step forward with his glaive and
Don't worry, it happens to everybody.
he'll step forward with his great
Never happened before. Sorry.
and attack. And the skeleton manages to block it with his little tiny short sword. This giant robot with a great sword, and this little skinny skeleton with his tiny little short sword blocks it. But he swings again and he completely fails to block it that time. As this greatsword kind of cleaves through and breaks a whole bunch of the rib cage off and kind of crumbles down to the ground.
Oops.
Hey,
So
guys.
I'm going to step up. It's not as bad as it looks. I'm going to touch him and do a little lay on hand action.
Lay your hand.
I'm going to give him
on
back
me.
10.
Tell
Thank
us how
you.
that looks.
And so as I move up, his same light that was covering his blade slowly extends from his hand as he touches his shoulder, and it moves down to his wounds. They stop bleeding. And then he's going to move up and over.
Kind of like a up and over is kind of like a reach around. Is that what I'm
And
just
Blink,
checking. I just
Blink says, "Thank you for the hand
So-
job."
35 to there.
All right.
And I'm going to draw out my sword, looking around. Now, I don't really understand what I'm seeing here. Are these steps up? Are they columns? Or
These are the steps up. They are short, maybe 2-3 steps up, and these are archways. There's these two narrower archways here, and then a larger archway in the center.
and there are steps up again, right in front, on to the north of him. Okay.
Yes.
Is it just a couple feet, or is it 5 feet?
It's
10
just
feet?
a couple feet. It's just like 2 steps.
Okay. So I'm looking around and watching over there as well. Figure they have the rest of these skeletons.
Oh, Blink.
All right, Blink will back up so he can get a better shot at the guy with the freeloading stroll, and he's going to shoot a firebolt at him with advantage, thanks to Caesar in the chat.
a while ago.
Yeah,
33 minutes ago, actually.
just haven't had a chance to use it yet.
He's like, hey man, I forgot my lunch. Do you have a cup of gold? I can go grab something real quick. I'll give it back to you tomorrow.
This is on Tuesday. Wow.
All those dice for 9 damage.
Yeah, but it was enough.
Skeleton explodes backwards, making the pile ever so slightly bigger.
Is the cannon even here?
No, I haven't actually
Oh, I
summoned it yet.
just threw it
Okay.
on the map just in case.
Didn't seem like we needed it against these guys.
Famous last words.
Right.
You there, customer support bot?
Yes. Are we killing? Is that what we're doing? We're killing? Sorry about that.
There's a skeleton that's got your name on it. You just need to smash it in the face. Take a 5-foot step forward and smash away.
You got
Oh
two
wait,
targeted.
you have a reach weapon, don't you?
No, he used his great sword last time, John said.
Oh.
Use the gray sword.
That kinda is a reach weapon? I mean, kinda?
You would think it's kind of big enough.
Right?
Unfortunately, he was holding it on not to the pommel. He was holding it up halfway through the blade and just couldn't quite hit with it.
He rolled the same thing twice.
Still hasn't figured out which end.
Lots of bones around, so just hitting the wrong pile.
Hitting the pile on the ground. Blink.
All right. Well, Blink will again move to get a better shot at this guy and shoot another firebolt.
This music really gets going, man. It's like dun, 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 dun. I think the skeletons are gonna break out in a number here in a minute.
You start a song and dance routine.
Yeah. Oh,
There we go.
Seeded by 15.
Instant death.
It's a little bit better than 9.
7
Yeah.
hit point.
Just like
Excellent.
explodes into little keychains.
So it's
skeleton
actually just a really accurate shot. You know, he shoots this firebolt out and it just hits the skeleton in the head, and its head just pops off and goes spinning across the room, and the skeleton just collapses.
All right, so you've killed all of the skeletons in this room that you are aware of.
that you are aware of. We're poking the pile. Can we target the pile
You smash it.
with firebolt? Can he target with firebolt?
I could cast Thunderwave on it and blow all the bones across the room.
They're skeleton mimics.
So customer service bot will go wrist deep again, searching through these bones.
Wait, I think he's back. I don't think you have control over him anymore.
He's not on camera, so
Sorry, I'm trying to get that set up.
No
we're
problem.
making fun of him.
Yeah, we're out of initiative, so what do you guys want to do?
All right, Blink wants to go back and finally figure out what this liquid in there is.
And
Okay.
Quinn,
So give me an investigation check. Kind of touch it and taste it and do all the little investigative things.
It's
Yeah,
pretty good.
you're pretty sure it's blood. You can't really identify what creature it's from, but one thing you do notice about the blood with that high of a roll is that the blood seems completely fresh. So either it was just barely put in there, or something is keeping it fresh.
Guys, this blood is still warm. Blink says, and you see there's a little blood, or a little red around his mouth.
is there a Bunsen burner under it or something?
No, there's no source of fire or light or heat or anything that you can see.
I want to take one of those many vials that I purchased in a previous town and scoop out a little bit of the blood.
Okay, sure. So you can go ahead and add it to your inventory as a vial of Morena blood.
And if anybody questions him, he just doesn't even understand why you guys question it. He's just like, what? It could be useful.
Actually, I think we're used to it by now. I mean,
That's probably true.
we're all like, just don't get it on you.
We all know you're a weirdo with picking up stuff.
So Quint's gonna examine the other statue. I'm hoping there's a nipple or something, right? Is it?
Oh, there is. I just can't show it on stream.
Right. We can imagine it though, right?
You can definitely imagine it. It's this very pregnant, very scantily dressed depiction of Morena. She's wearing just this flimsy, filmy, thin little gown. Other than that, she's nude and very fat, pregnant.
You can't really cheat anymore either and tell that there's like room over on this side of the map like you could in Classic. We're in the corner of the map, so we have to go that way.
There's only one way. And Tegas, where you're at, you are standing before the central arch. And the arch stands about 15 feet high. It's about 10 feet wide. And decorating the arch are carved droplets of blood. They appear to be red droplet shapes carved into the entire archway. It's appearing almost as crimson drops of rain that frame the passageway. The arches to either side, the arches on the left and right, stand 10 feet high and 5 feet wide, and these smaller passages are unadorned.
And what is beyond that? Are those double doors?
Yeah, so looking up, you can see that there are a couple of doors up ahead, and you'd have to get a little closer to examine. They appear to be carvings on the doors, and there's also doors to the left and right.
Is there light in either of these three rooms or coming from under the double doors?
No, there is no light coming from under the double doors or from any of these rooms.
What do you guys think? Do we just want to go right down the middle one to start, or check out the side passages first?
Oh, well, Quenta creep down here and look down this way.
Okay, when you take a peek down there, you can see that it kind of goes off to the right a little bit, and then the passageway continues up and on to the left. But as I said, the archway here is not adorned with anything. It's not decorated at all.
It's like I don't see anything further in.
If a minute passes, I'll cast it on them again.
What are you casting?
Benediction.
Who you casting benediction on?
Quint.
What are you doing? Well, don't touch me there.
Oh, I don't touch you.
What are you saying? What are you
Don't
mumbling
have
in
enough.
my ear?
Don't have enough sanitizer.
What is benediction? I
Cut
don't
you off.
understand.
Keep touching you.
You share that in the chat.
It is a blessing of Sith, which I cast on you when I thought you were actually being brave and going into the room before. But it was Tyrion.
Tyrion has like bravery on his character sheet. Quint does not.
So you make him glow with light. A creature you can see within range shimmers with a faint white light. So let's get the stealthy guy and make him glow.
It's faint.
Let's go this way. Tyrion's gonna start to move that direction too.
All right. Give me 1 second.
And CSB will too.
Yeah, might as well.
So just to clarify, are you doing Divine Sense rules as written? So for example, say there was something around the corner and 20 feet ahead that was the pure essence of evil. I would not be able to sense it, even though it was within 60 feet because I can't see it. Because I've been waiting to do it this whole time thinking, I'll be able to see more than 2 feet and then I'll do Divine Sense. But it's utterly useless.
Yeah, every time I've had that, it's been kind of utterly useless.
Because
I
you
haven't.
have to see it. If you could do it behind doors, or at least get an idea that something was there.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just checking. Okay.
I think the best thing to use that for is when you encounter like an NPC and you don't know what it is and you want to see if it's like undead or something.
Is it a vampire or a human?
Yeah, exactly.
Or a mimic. It could be a mimic. Don't discount that. Just target it.
I always assume everything's a mimic. That is why I'm still alive.
All right, customer support bot. What are you gonna do?
You get the initiative down on Blinky from last.
Sorry,
We never started a new initiative.
that's true.
I think I'm
We
just
just
going to
rerolled.
march forward with the determination. Like nothing bad's going to happen.
All right.
You got a path that are you gonna? Oh, Quint's like, I sense something ahead.
There's something in the
On
wing
the wing.
of the temple.
Give me 1 second. I'm trying to read something here.
We could turn down the grid a little too. I mean, I'm just saying, it's like blinding us.
Is it? I did earlier.
What was that, Mr. Kettle? What was that?
There. How's that?
I just love that you can do it, you know? That you can turn the grid down.
Oh
Or
yeah,
off.
definitely.
I mean, or, you know, completely invisible if you wanted to.
All right. Quint, give me a perception check.
Uh,
All right. So you do not notice until the absolute last second this thing jump out of the shadows and attack you. Come on. Helps if I'm on play mode, not edit the grid mode. And this thing jumps out of the shadows wielding this giant morning star and growls at you and attacks you with his morning star. And he hits you.
ouch.
So it
Smack.
takes
I,
minus 1d4
wait,
less
I want to use
damage.
Uncanny Dodge, too.
That too.
Hold on. I got my wrong character open.
I'm pretty sure when you use that skill, you have to say uncanny dodge.
I don't even see it. I don't even think I got it on my sheet.
It's written in the player's handbook. Just saying.
The verbal component.
I don't think I coded it. I gotta find it.
What does it
Well,
do?
just I take half damage.
Resist all. He takes half damage.
So I'll roll it without targeting you.
Wait, I got it right here. Okay, now go ahead.
No, resist all doesn't. Oh yeah, that would work. As he smashes you with his morning star. And thanks to your uncanny dodge.
And did I get the D4?
Yeah. You had
Oh.
-3 from that spell effect. So he swings at you once and turns around and back swings, almost a 20, but ended up rolling a 2, and misses you and clangs against the wall there. Sir Tegas.
All right, so I'm holding my lantern of revealing, and almost as I watch the light fade from Quint as he gets hit, I'm going to thwip 2 of my shurikens. Thwip, thwip. Of -2, I presume.
Yes, -2 from around the corner there. This thing you notice is wearing armor and has a shield. As your shurikens thunk into his shield, and
And then I'm going to step back a little bit to try to allow some room for CSB to get by.
all right.
Finn is a pixelated mess. No?
What is a pixelated mess?
Oh. Camera, I guess. I don't know. All good now.
And Quint, give me a perception check.
Well, you just keep asking for these, and I just keep failing
I
them.
know.
I mean, can we just assume that I'm going to make one at one point? You know, I'm just
Maybe.
not today.
No, that's good enough. That's good enough. You hear very faintly. It sounds like a woman's voice coming from down the passageway beyond this bugbear with his little soul patch.
Is she like barking orders, or is she singing, or can I not
No,
tell?
like calling for help. This help somebody, and you hear like a thud, 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 like somebody's pounding on a door.
And Blink goes, I'm not falling for that one again.
Right? I think we need to get on our glass slippers. Bad joke. Bad joke. Whose turn is it?
Somebody's. Just give me a second.
Somebody banging on the door's turn? What's going on? Well, we know it's not a large creature because it's going to be kind of tight in here.
Yeah, things things are a little tight in this room. Okay, let's see. Okay, well, he's gonna do this then. You learn how to use Fantasy Grounds. That'll be his. Sorry. Quint.
I think Quint's going to draw out. Huh. He can't really shoot from back there. He's got his bow in his hand. I mean, I never said I took his bow out, so I'm imagining he's still got his bow in his hand. I guess he'll switch and draw his short sword and just try to take a jab at this guy.
Just have a short sword in one hand.
Yeah. Short sword on this guy. Jabbing at him. And then he's gonna
poking at the edge of his shield.
Yeah, he's gonna bonus action. Look back at the guy behind me wearing plate mail. What are you wearing? What's
He's wearing it
wearing?
like hide or leather or something.
You need to get up front. And he's gonna dip back like there.
All right. So is he going to take an op attack or?
No, he's bonus action disengage.
Okay. He disengages. And you hear another voice, feminine voice, screaming similar kinds of things. What are you doing? Let us out of here! And some more pounding.
I think Tyrion's gonna come up.
Okay, that's 25.
And Tyrion will still have out his battle axe. There's no way he can chuck a
Take out some
javelin
speed.
over there. Can't get a javelin over there, right?
Not from where you're at, no.
Yeah.
He is very skinny with his back up against the door.
All right, Blink has no idea what's going on up there. Like, he hears combat, he sees Quint come running back down the corridor, but it does look like maybe there's a door up there. So he's gonna go around through the main area and see if he can open that door and look down the corridor.
Okay, main area being
Oh, sorry, like up
there.
up that way.
Okay, gotcha. Alrighty. You get almost to there.
Oh, good.
You get right there. And as you walk into this hallway, you're standing on the pin. You're standing on the story pin.
I think you just pulled the whelps.
Yeah, sorry guys.
So as you walk into there, you can see that there's carvings on the double doors. They look kind of similar to what you saw before. Just real briefly, it's kind of something to do with the red goddess. But you're a little bit busy. And as you step into there without a sound, two kind of misty specters arise from the floor and start sliding towards you. And
Do they do they get attack or anything, or do I still get to
no, it's not their turn.
finish my turn?
You
Okay.
get to finish what you're doing.
All right, sounds good. In that case,
You get
Blink,
back up.
yeah, Blink will stop right there. He's right next to him. And so he's gonna try to thunder wave these guys and knock them backwards
Okay.
so that he can then run away.
Specters. I think the best ones were the Matrix twin. I don't know if they were specters, but those were pretty cool. Those are probably more like wraiths or something.
All right. You got one failed and one succeeded.
All right. Well, the one who failed gets pushed back 10 feet.
Okay. He gets backed into the door and actually goes right through the door.
Oh, good. Oh, like it doesn't open the door. He literally just passes through it.
Literally just passes right through the
Oh,
door.
okay, good. I was worried that
Worried.
he's gonna just burst the door open. Since I'm already next to this guy, Blink will step up and open the door next to Tegas.
Okay.
With the rest of his move. And then he'll say, I could use some help in here. And he will use his bonus. Summoning the cannon is an action, so he's not going to do that on his turn. He's done.
Okay. And that is a good spot for us to take a 10-minute break.
10-minute break.
Come back at the top of the round.
All right. Well, I'll get a timer going. 21, 41. We'll do 42. Give us a little bit extra. 10 minutes. And I'm going to put some slideshow and some music on. So you guys can go away, but you got to come back. You got 10 minutes. Hurry up. Get your shit done. See you. What are we back from break? Is that what's going on? Everybody's ready? Let's get this music stopped. Let's get the table going. Let's play some D&D. That button. Yeah, there it is. There's the winder. My turn too? What the hell? Is that right?
Yeah, starting off the top of the round with Quint hiding behind the corner.
Quint's like, that didn't work out as well as I had hoped. Stupid initiative. Well, Quint's curious now what all this weird thunder booming stuff is going on. He's got his bow out, so he's gonna like shift over to here and kind of peek around the corner and see what's going on. Oh, what is that?
See, Blink
Oh.
dance something. This ghostly apparition.
Quint doesn't like that, so Quint is going to shoot at it with his magical longbow. Twang. Wait. Disadvantage?
Advantage, you still hit. Ranged in melee? Why would you have ranged in melee? You're not next to anything.
Okay, so I hit, so I need to apply sneak attack manually then.
I'm going to turn that ranged in melee thing off.
Yeah, that's weird.
It looks like Blink has a turn indicator on mine too, so I don't know.
Yeah, that's something I need to fix with the indicator extension. It is Quint's turn.
I didn't know if it
Okay,
thought
there
he
it is.
was the one making the attack for melee range.
Damage. There it is.
All right.
Nice.
You shoot your arrow through this little specter, and it just kind of dissipates and leaves nothing behind.
What are you doing in there, Blink? Trying to get yourself killed?
I'm trying, but you're making it hard. All right. Blink will run away. He knows what's coming out of this door. And then he's gonna summon the cannon and give some temporary hit points to some people. So he'll back up into this pile, near this pile of skeletons. And as he's passing Quint, he'll say, "There's another one through the double doors."
And Quint's gonna be like, wait, you got it. What? I got a bow.
Are you summoning cannon?
And yes, I want to summon the cannon there as my action and give out some temporary.
Did the range increase at level 5?
No, it's 10 feet. Why?
Because he's 15.
Oh, sorry. You were making a joke, and I was not like ready for that.
No, I
Sorry.
was hoping it would at level 5 increase a little bit.
And then after hearing Quint, Blink has a little bit of movement left, so he'll move up next to him to try to protect him a little bit. But that's all the movement he has left, because he was like, "Oh right, I shouldn't have just
I think
abandoned
Quint
you."
would go, "Aw."
Take us.
So I'm going to look at CSB and tell them the big one can be yours. Now, am I in a threatened square because of the bugbear's reach?
You don't know.
Ah,
Make any kind.
nanner.
No.
All right. So if I can't tell how long his arms are from here because he's around the corner and stuff, I'm going to go ahead and move back, taking the op if he has one.
Okay. Go ahead and step back.
So look around.
Quint's like,
Blink's not
there's a
even there. He's like, I need some help, and then he's not even there. So I don't see anything.
We both point
Blink,
at
like,
the
points-
door.
Yeah, we
both
both just
point at
pointed
the door. It's that way.
All right. So I'm going to I'll set my lantern of revealing down and draw out my sword.
Okay.
And am I able to? So I have a 35 feet movement. I move 10 feet. Am I able to do that in ready in action?
Yeah, you can. Well, you're dropping the lantern is free. Drawing your sword, and so yeah, that's all
Okay.
just free, and so you can ready in
Right.
action.
So I'm going to ready my action to attack if something comes up to me with my sword.
Just say it. When the specter comes back through the door, you're gonna hit it. We know.
I know it's going to go around through the floor
It's
and
gonna
come
go
up
under
underneath
you.
Quint
Come
and
right up.
right underneath Quint and Blink. So
Okay.
All right.
Forward, Bob.
Sorry, we're experiencing extraordinarily high support request volume right now. So requests for help will be answered in the order that they were gotten. I'm going to go this way because I heard some ladies ask for help. Get my greatsword and try to cut this guy because he's in my way.
All right.
Blink says, "Would it help like if I screamed like a lady?"
Quint's
I meant to use my
like,
greatsword, but they have the same attack bonus. Is that okay if I roll
Yeah,
the
yeah,
great?
fine.
Try one more.
Dooched.
All right. Well, I'll use my action surge to redo that.
Okay. That's a hit.
Nice.
Heavily wounding him.
Dude's got some HP.
Yeah.
So Tyrion is going to move over here and kind of do some choppy chop on the bugbear from around the corner. What do you got? A -2?
Yeah.
Trying to cut his toes off.
Yeah, chopping his left leg off.
Reach around the corner. Bump customer support bot to the side.
Ah, stupid armor. I'm gonna try it again.
You try to stab him in his shin guard. Misses.
Aha! Got some meat that time.
Passed the shin guard right into his calf.
Eh, critical.
Critic.
I don't think Tyrion's gonna rage just yet. That's on his turn.
Wait. Yeah. Okay. All right. So customer support bot. You see something step into the space right behind that bugbear, and it looks kind of like this.
Sir, please wait your turn.
And he reaches out, and you see him touch the bugbear, kind of look past, and then smile at you.
Your emotions mean nothing to me. I would like you to fill out the survey, though, at the end of the combat.
And give me 1 second. Where is he?
Remember, anything less than 5 stars is a bad review.
You see the bugbear's wounds appear to close as after he touched this thing, and then you see this creature standing behind the bugbear bring his hand back and just slap the bugbear hard in the back. And you hear some kind of weird chanting noise.
Like on the butt? Like a slap on the butt hard, or?
Dead hard in the back. Almost like he's pushing him, but he's not pushing him. All right, so this one.
It's like Yingling. Gangling. Yingling.
Yingling?
Gangling.
He's a member of a small gang.
it's a pseudo gang.
Comes out here and jumps on Tyrion from behind.
Tyrion's like,
That's-
damn it, I wish I would have gotten mad.
Doing a crit.
$11.
Why is he absorbed?
He had temporary hit points from the cannon.
Okay.
12. Thank you. I forgot about those too.
Absorbing some temporary hit points, 11 points of damage because of those temp hit points. And you feel this nasty sensation come over your body as you feel like your strength was nearly drained out, but you do manage to hold on and don't have your hit point max reduced.
Phew. That's not fun. Nah.
All right. So this thing looks up at you, customer support bot, and he's got his morning star and he starts bashing at you. So he takes a swing.
I'm in customer support. I'm used to abuse.
Smashes into you, damaging some of your gears.
Oh.
Minimal damage. Oh my god. 2 ones. -1.
0. Support bot's like,
And then he whips around and takes a back swing. And this one misses. And then you notice something, that his movements seem to be unnaturally sped up as he spins around and attacks you one more time.
I know that move.
And this one does hit for not minimum damage. You still absorb most of it all from those temp hit points.
I'm sorry, were you trying to do something?
Excuse me, pardon me. I'd like to get by now.
Please press 1 for the main menu.
All right, blink.
All right. Blink again can't see what's going on. So he's gonna move up and just actually move right into Tagas's space temporarily, so that he can see.
Then he's going to slam the door shut.
Okay.
There we go. All right. So yeah, he can see this guy, so he will shoot a firebolt at this thing.
Okay, if you miss, it'll go right into Tyrion.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Aim high, aim high.
She's not here. It's okay.
She wants to play a new character anyways.
Sorry, Professor, you were right. I should have used that. Next round, I will use that. Sorry. He redeemed a disadvantage for the Spectre.
I didn't know if that was the one behind the door or not.
It was. It went through the wall. It didn't come out the door. It's an incorporeal.
All right. So Blink will back up a little bit. And then the cannon will move up and give out some temporary hit points to a few people.
All right.
Ooh, 11. 11. We like 11.
All right. So this thing disengages and disappears through the wall.
Where you going?
You know?
Well, I don't think I have a choice in the matter. Tyrion is probably going to rage, right?
A kobold just shot a firebolt at him.
I think he's raging.
No, over him. Over.
And going to chop at this bugbear with his axe. -2.
Keep trying to get around the corner and
I know,
smack
right?
the wall. Banging on his shins. Yeah, can't get past those shin guards.
Damn it.
All right, the bugbear smiles again and starts up again. You see, he's moving faster than you had expected. He attacks. This one bounces off you, back swings again, and this is again blocked by your armor. And a third attack, all miss. Jeez.
I'm going to accuse him of using cheat codes.
Press
Yeah.
2 if you would like to speak in Cobalt. Press 3 if you would like.
I just imagine it sounding like a beautiful Jamaican steel drum as he's banging on me.
Oh, yeah. Ding, 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 ding.
All right. So, Quint. Yeah, no, you don't see anything, but you hear a slight pop as if something appeared. And what does it show from your perspective? The entire area is bathed in darkness.
Isn't that like a warm quilt for Quint?
Magical dark. You can't see 5 feet in front of your face. All right, customer support bot. So you are blinded.
Oh, I'm also blinded?
You should be in the range of the darkness, are you not?
I don't know how I'd know that. I can see the bugbear and stuff still.
How can you see? Your light would go out, so you would not have light.
Okay. Is a disadvantage if I attack automatic?
Yeah, if you just apply the blinded condition, you can, or I can. Here, I'll do that since I've got it handy here.
Sorry.
Nope.
Well, that sounds like a good thing. Why does that sound like a good thing? And do I still have him targeted? I don't know because I'm blind.
Yes, you still have him targeted. So you can kind of, you know where he was, and you can certainly try to attack that square.
I'm sorry. There seems to be technical difficulties. Please try again.
Quint.
Well, Quint,
Everything just went black.
right? So he is going to attempt to move within his party.
Okay. What do you mean within his party? Oh, up there.
Yeah.
Touching Tyrion's face. Oh, that's him.
You nearly trip over that cannon. Forgot
Right?
was there. Oh, damn it.
Bang my shin into the end of the cannon. Ah, like a trailer hitch.
Hit points.
Up to the next square, turns around, and I think he's gonna, as an action, put his bow away, and then draw his short sword out.
Okay.
He's like, something cast a spell out there, and it all went dark. I think. I don't know. It was creepy. I can't see. Are you guys in here? Trying to get a feel for where everybody's at.
So I will say, noticing this is magical darkness because my magical lamp doesn't light.
Yes.
Blink, do you have a way to turn off this darkness?
No.
And then I'm going to attempt to reach out for the wall using my blade, and then just slide over 5 feet and put my back against the wall, the southern wall, and have my blade ready.
Okay.
Blink will say to Tyrion, what about that vial of sunlight you have? Doesn't that do something?
I forgot about that. I was so mad. This isn't my character. Vial sunlight, yeah.
Does that dispel magical darkness? I think it does. Can't remember.
I'm just doing the same slash back and forth over and over again. The bugbear just happened to walk into one of them.
Doesn't say
So it
anything
does
about what it does to darkness.
Yeah.
not say it dispels magical darkness. All right. So this thing.
Wall hacks. Wall hacks.
Yes, most definitely. Comes out of the wall. Come on.
You will all be banned.
To here. And takes a swipe at Blink. With disadvantage. And you feel these sharp claws just kind of rake along you, but they don't get quite deep enough to actually hurt you.
All right. Now, it looks like I can still see everything.
Darkness is wonky with with the implementation. You
Okay.
should be good. Actually, wait a minute.
Yeah, player view shows he's got some kind of light on him or something.
Well, no, he can see because he has dark vision. And
So
the
do I.
darkness.
I can't see.
Well, yeah, but you're directly in line with the magical darkness. He's actually behind a wall. So the darkness isn't cascading which where he is.
So I'm okay at least to attack this specter, right?
Yes, you can see him.
All right, that's good enough, because that's what Blink's gonna do. So he will reach out with his wand and basically like try to poke this thing, and shocking grasp him.
Okay.
Like an arc welder.
Is that your lantern, Tigos?
Yes.
Oh, I thought they were brown pants.
All right, so yeah, he stabs at this thing with his wand and sends lightning coursing through it, into the specter. And after that dissipates, the cannon will he'll fire it at where he thinks everyone is. Can I do that, John?
It's like the water park. It's a water feature. Just
Doesn't it require you to see your target? Most things do.
I don't know. This is what it says. The cannon emits a burst of positive energy that grants itself and each creature of your choice within 10 feet of it 1d8 plus 5 temporary hit points.
So it doesn't sound like it needs your vision.
It's a
it's
bubble.
a friendly grenade.
Boom.
Yeah,
Boom.
basically just yeah. You've
And
created.
this is, I mean, everybody already has a ton. This would just be to like max everybody out if I roll really well. Anyway.
Give me more. More.
Take some
No.
away.
Yeah, right.
No, that's not what I wanted to do. All right, what is he gonna do? Here he is. That's what I'm gonna do. All right, so this out of the darkness, Blink You can see something come up to you. Do you see it?
I
on the
do.
map? All right. So you see this thing. This is kind of what it looks like. And he crawls up to you and smiles with a big grin and proceeds to punch you as hard as he can.
Blink says, gross, there's an old goblin attacking me.
An old goblin.
He's 5 feet back from there. So the first one misses, and then his second fist, which stretches longer than a normal arm.
Dawson.
Exactly. Reaches out, and both manage to kind of graze you and miss you. And then he starts running over in this direction. Quint?
So Quint cannot see nothing.
How long does any dodge last?
It's a reaction. I can use it every round.
Okay.
Why is
You
it
can use
still
every
on
round.
me or something?
Yeah, it was stuck on you.
Oh. Maybe I put the wrong one on or something. I don't know. I think he's just gonna ready. I think he's gonna pull out his dagger and ready. So I'll pass his turn. Think I will. Down arrow.
Yeah, he's traveled with us for a while. He knows all of our colognes.
All right, so I hear some combat happening just around the corner. So I'm going to see if this is going to work. I'm going to head back into the square I was just in and use my divine sense.
All right. So where you're going to be back where your lantern is?
Yes. So it doesn't say I can't see them. I don't know if darkness counts as total cover or not.
It does. You essentially have the blinded condition when you're in total darkness.
All right. So if darkness counts as total cover, then it doesn't do me any good. All right.
Darkness
I'll
counts as total
give
cover?
it a shot.
Like behind a wall or behind a barrel?
It
could
counts
be
as
behind.
heavily covered.
That's not
Which
total cover though.
blind, not total cover. It's the blinded condition. You can't see, and if it requires you to be able to see them, then it would stop that.
Right. But it doesn't. So if you look in the thing, it just says
Total
that is
cover.
not behind total cover.
Yeah, it's not that you can see. So that there's two
So I
separate.
am able to tell where he is. Is that correct? The thing is attacking. Is it
Yeah.
a fiend, celestial, or undead?
You do not detect any fiends, celestials, or undead within the restrictions of that
60
spell.
feet.
Okay. I'm then going to.
Cool. Strahd's not here. Great. Cool.
He looks like a cybernetic cyclops right now, and it's
Behind
pretty
the
cool.
next couple doors.
Is my intent. I'm going to try to move over and then touch the wall again, and then try to move down, listening to the combat that's happening next to me. Would I?
From there, you should be in light. The darkness ends.
Okay, I'm not. But if I kick myself, there we go. So I don't see anything in adjacent to Blink. Is that correct?
Correct. You do not see anything. These two specters are not actually there.
So I say, Blink, what were you doing? I don't see anything. And I'm going to step forward one more time and be done.
The weird old goblin went that way. He points like in that direction.
So I have legally I have 35 feet of movement. I would think I would have been going slower.
Okay. It's up to you.
So I see this thing. I'm just gonna double move to become adjacent to it.
Okay.
And go 5 more feet. Sorry, I normally say how far I'm moving. So if it runs, I'm like, so I'll yell, "I've got it! Come over here!" I don't know whose voice that was, but I've got a frog in my throat.
It's dark out.
Terry.
Tyrion is going to whip out his drift
no.
globe and use the daylight spell on it. And there you go. There's daylight.
All right. Well, then the darkness is dispelled.
And Quint goes, ouch!
As this light starts spreading, and yeah, you should be able to see now.
Turn it off.
Although Tyrion does not have a light source, and the lantern Tegas also does not have a light source. He's still within the range of the lantern.
If that image you put down there, if you do that as a token, you can then apply the light to that.
I did.
Cool.
It should have. Did it not?
Yep, it
Yeah.
did. Very
Easy
cool.
light extension.
Yep, nice. I mean, extension. You should be able to do that anyway with a token.
I'm
But
assuming
you
that's
can
an action.
You have to go through the lighting and find the token lighting and set it up and click it and all that.
Yeah. So that's it. That's all Tyrion's gonna do. Tyrion's like, now he can see. Oh, actually, that was an action though, so Tyrion can't do anything else. He's gonna hit himself with the drift globe. Just try to stay mad. I don't know. Is he
All right,
raging?
the bugbear. Well, you didn't attack anything, and you
Right,
weren't
but
attacked.
I don't even see rage on him. Was he? Yeah, he's still. I guess he drops his rage.
Yeah, he should have dropped his rage. All right, old bugbear doesn't like the fact that the lights have turned on. He preferred you guys in darkness while he could see. So he is going to swing at you, customer support bot, once, missing you twice, missing you again, and he just can't hit you. 3 times for the charm. Finally manages to hit you for a whopping 0 points of damage. Killbot has entered, and top of the round, Bugbear gets to go again. And this time he scores a crit
Oh,
My hubris.
wow.
for 16 points of damage. And that one was a miss, and that one is a miss. As he keeps swinging by, kind of dinging off your armor, but he's just having a rough time hitting you.
All right. Blink wants to go after this this old goblin thing. So he will move down.
Okay.
Sorry, I'd forgotten to take off my action surge earlier.
No problem.
And he will he'll point at one of the swords that the skeletons were wielding, and then he'll point at this goblin thing, and the sword will fling itself through the air towards him.
Nice. telekinetic short sword attack. And he fails his saving throw.
Man, those are just not fantastic rolls. And then Blink will do some more temporary hit points for his friends up there.
Right. So this thing doesn't like what you're doing, and he looks up at you, Tagos. He doesn't like that you're so close, and he disappears. It's already on him. So he disappears and is going to move. So you will get an attack of opportunity on him.
Okay, but this,
It is invisible, but
all right. And do you want me to hit disadvantage or just assume it's gonna work?
it should work automatically because he has
Yeah,
invisible.
it will. Ooh.
Drop it. You still hit. Good amount of damage. Quinn.
Oh, his door's closed. Okay.
Quint is going to go through that door, open that door. Oops.
That one should have already been opened. I don't.
Okay.
Did some? I don't remember anybody closing it. It's just probably an
Yeah,
accident.
he's gonna back up from this freaking light that's blinding him in the face. Come out here and there's more light blinding him in the face from this lantern.
Marion, put your shirt on.
And he wants to see when he gets in there. Oh, so I see Sir Tagos down that way. I'm like, what are we after? And
There's an invisible goblin running around.
He's gonna move over and open this door.
Yes. Very good.
I'm trying to open it, but I think my token is on top of it. Let me cancel my move.
Yeah, let's move you to here.
There.
Right there. And then
Let's
now
see
it's
it. 5, 10, 15, 20.
And the lantern on the ground next to you shines light out into the hallway, and you see this thing appear that was apparently invisible before. And so everybody who hasn't seen it yet, this is what it looks like. He has a scowl on his face. He doesn't like being seen.
Well, Quint's going to take advantage of that, and
would he know?
Would
He
Quint
could
know
think
what?
abilities not working. Yeah.
Okay.
Is that dim light?
No, it's 30 feet bright and then 30 feet dim.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So that is dim light, isn't it? Where I'm pointing that square.
Yes,
Oh,
that is.
yeah.
So Quint's gonna Misty Step to there.
Okay.
And bonus action hide? Oh no, I can't do that. So he's just gonna Misty Step there and then try to stick this guy. I was
Until he
hoping
figure
to
out
have.
how you're poof right in front of him and then hide.
Right. Well, I haven't used my inspiration, so I want to use my inspiration to give myself advantage.
All right.
And I'm going to try to stick him with.
Hold on. Visible.
short
Let me
sword.
remove him from him. All right. You're good.
And short sword. Oh, I should have. Why didn't I roll advantage?
Roll it again.
Yeah, but then I gotta apply sneak attack if it does hit.
Do better than a 2.
I do hit. Oh, it did apply sneak attack. Why? Why? Because I'm in dim light?
I don't know why, but it worked. So. Good damage roll. He didn't like that.
All right. And I think that's all Quint's got in his repartee.
All right. You'd already passed your turn, so now it's Tarian's.
Well, Tarian is going to. Let me switch over to Tarian. Gonna do the old choppy chop on this thing from around the corner. Battle axe, miss, and paddle axe. Ooh, a crit.
Nice. Hit him right through the knee.
Critical damage. Take that, he says.
Crits are nasty.
Do I see? I'm 30 feet away. Do I hear noise coming from down here?
From up there? Absolutely.
Okay, good.
Yeah, you heard the bamf of Quint popping into existence
right.
after teleporting.
And then
I
the
smell the sulfur.
in Goblin.
Yeah, there was actually that sound. Oh.
Did you type bear fart?
It doesn't work. I guess my link's broke.
So have I been traveling long enough with Blink that I can now use pack tactics like he does?
Unfortunately, he's still way better at it than you, so you get disadvantage when you try it instead.
Plus, that's Quint that you're trying to gang up with, and Quint doesn't know anything about it.
Wow, a 1 and a 3. Okay. So I run up and these tight quarters, I keep hitting the wall and trying to move and banging back into the wall behind me, and I'm just not used to this tight quarters.
After the darkness was dispelled, would Blink's tinkering with my weapon make it glow again?
It
Which
would.
which light spell is that? Is that just spell light or is that a lantern?
It's already on you. I just have to turn it on. There
Oh,
you go.
sorry.
Yeah. The effect is I just had it toggled off rather than deleted.
All right. Well, first I'm going to do the T2000 thing where I heal a little bit. Doing second wind.
You break wind. Second wind.
Engaging secondary drive.
Sorry, I accidentally clicked. There.
I think I can see him now. Okay. And then I will try to finish him off. Why did I still have disadvantage?
Because you have blinded. The second one was a 5, so the first one was a 3.
Okay, I would have missed anyway. Sorry about that.
No problem. Let me remove blinded from you since you're not blinded.
Oh, now he can see. That's why he wasn't be able to see, because he had blinded on.
Blinded.
All right, Tyrion, I'm going to have to escalate this to a higher support level if I can tag my manager in.
Very nice. All right, so trying to adjust.
Oh,
I'm going to use my inspiration.
All right.
Well, I think it's tough. So finally, I'm able to shift a little bit and get used to this a little bit, enough to slice them a little.
The floor was a bit slippery. So this guy is. Let's see, what has he done? All right. Well, he. Let's see, what is the requirements on this? He disappears. Only this time it's not invisibility.
It's close-up magic.
And customer support bot, you actually see the thing appear right behind that bugbear.
I'm going to make a very obnoxious klaxon sound and point.
And yeah, that's going to be his turn.
Oh, God.
Quint's like, where'd he go? Does Quint think it was some kind of spell cast? Did he hear a...
He didn't see any indication of spell casting. In your experience, you think it could certainly have been an innate spell as opposed to a normally cast spell.
To wiggle his nose.
I've never seen ugly goblins do that before. I don't think he wants to keep going further into the compound just yet.
You don't want to draw more?
I think he's like, he's gonna come back out this way. Moving to here and then see what he sees. He's like, where is it?
See a lantern on the floor.
I am actually saying goblin, goblin. Like I'm trying to alert them that something appeared. Or not, that's intelligible.
And then he's gonna take the dodge action.
Okay.
Tyrion is gonna do some chopping on the bugbear around the corner.
Man, he's struggling to get by this thing's armor still.
All right. Got one.
Come on, kill him. There you go. Stabbed through his other knee, came right out the back of his knee. And he slumps down, trapping your sword or axe. You have to yank on him.
Seriously, get off! You're gonna make me mad again.
We can't hear you if you're talking, Jeremiah.
Sorry, I can't seem to untarget myself. All right, it's just the indicator.
Yeah, it's just the stuck indicator.
Whoa.
I critted twice in a row.
You double click the attack and it attacked twice, and both were crits.
Well, I get 2 attacks, DM. So if that's okay with you.
Go for it.
You just have to. Oh, and
Yeah. You have to hit the crit button. Yeah.
the bugbear's down though. Wait, you're hitting the bugbear.
Oh no!
You're hitting the bugbear.
Oh, that's what it was. I didn't click it twice. I'm sorry.
Oh,
So he just wait. He just starts going.
Wasn't a
It
stuck
just-
indicator. I was standing on the dude. I'm sorry about that.
and blends everything in the hallway.
So the Domovoy should have taken the full crit, so an additional 14. And then you'll get one more attack roll on the Domovoy.
The Domovoy's dead, so
Both.
they're all dead.
He isn't prone, so I'm not going to get unfair advantage, am I?
Against who? Everybody's dead.
Oh,
They're
okay.
dead.
Never mind. Everybody's dead. So I'm going to swing in the air because, that's what I'm programmed to do. 2 attacks. Like if something dies, that's not my problem. So I hit him again. Yes. All right. So he's in tiny bits, making it easier to be harvested.
He's in lots of pieces right now. All right. You guys are out of combat. You have a bugbear corpse lying on the ground there in several pieces, and a weird goblin-y thing laying there in many, many smaller pieces.
I'm going to immediately go towards the voices I heard because they called for customer support.
Okay.
I don't know. Like, customer support is here. Does anybody require customer support?
I'm going to grab the lantern and follow.
Yeah,
the entry.
Following along too.
Customer number 5478, please state your name.
Okay, you're standing in front of a door to the south. That's where you heard the voices coming from.
All right, I'm going to carelessly open it without listening. I'm just walking directly towards the voice I heard.
All right, just open the door. Don't enter the room yet.
Yes, sorry.
No problem. Things are slowed down a little bit. I got a story entry covering my combat tracker. Come on. Quit. There we go. Okay. So when you open the door, you see the inside is dark. It's kind of a dank chamber. And there are 2 ladies in there. They look to be young, kind of maybe mid to late teens. They're dressed in very common clothes, and they are cowering now in the corner after hearing all of these sounds of combat.
First, I'm going to have to make them confirm that they're over 13 years of age and have a legal account.
I'm going to use my second instance of Divine Sense.
Okay. You do not sense any evil coming from them at all.
Does somebody require help? I am here to help. And I look exactly like my avatar. So be that as it may. If somebody wants to shove in front of me that has skin,
What happened to the bugbears?
he is now many pieces.
Did she say bugbears?
I have fragmented him.
Quint looks around.
Are you here to rescue us?
I'm here to help you. What seems to be the trouble? Are you having a hard time placing long distance calls?
We we were brought here with the others, although there's only the two of us left as far as we know. The we were probably next.
Are you not a follower of Rava?
Who's Rava?
I'm sorry, you are not a customer.
We we were brought here on orders of Sister Alcava. Is that Rava?
And I will come forward and try to calm them. What else is in the room?
It's empty. It looks like it was a prison cell. And they were too scared to get out of it. It wasn't locked per se, but the bugbear was kind of standing right outside the door, and they were too terrified to try and open it and get out.
Are you from the village?
Yes, we're from Carvolia, and they introduced themselves. Um, the one introduces herself. I'm Ara. I'm Ara Kelt. I'm the daughter of the village brewer, and this is Jala Ran, who operates the tailor shop.
Does the fiend who resides here have a contract with the village that allows them to take people such as yourself?
A contract? We have no choice. We don't we are there is no contract. We are taken against our will. Sister Al Kava is pure evil.
So why do you and your families not leave the village?
Where would we go? Everywhere around here there is undead, horrible terrors that travel at night. We're just simple folk. We've lived here in Krakova for all of our lives.
Yeah, it sounds like you're stealing my bit where you're saying they agreed to the terms and conditions. So
Yes. Just
Al
we'll
Sister
close and lock the door.
only
Uh,
came 2 months ago,
Just
but
his hand.
it has been utter terror in those few months.
go return to your village. It is just the exit is just around the corner, past the little one over there, and do not worry. We will destroy this evil that is in this mausoleum.
Oh,
Where-
that would be wonderful if you could destroy Sister Alcava. Then maybe our village might survive. We wouldn't have to turn in any more uh, volunteers.
Do you know where we could take a long rest before we fight her?
A long rest? What's that?
Do you, have you, where is Sister Al Qaeda? Do you know the layout of this mausoleum?
We know nothing. All we know is we came here with a bunch of our friends, all kind of the young people of the village. Um, the rest were brought here a few month or so ago during the festival of the Verdant Tower. Uh, Sister Alcava gathered up a number of the villagers. Now, with with the vampires that rule the region, our town and all towns in the area are sometimes called upon to make a blood sacrifice, where we, donate some of our blood to the health and welfare of the vampire overlords. But they don't usually kill us. Too valuable to keep us alive as feeding stock. But Sister Alcaba, when she took them away, no one returned. And a few days ago, she came and took all of us. There's only the two of us that we know of left. The others have all been taken one by one away, somewhere into this building, and we don't know where.
Well, I toss her a water skin of water. I'm sure they haven't had any water.
Oh yeah, they are emaciated.
Do they require water? I use my alchemy jug to make that 18 gallons of water. It's just hose them down like two prisoners.
We give them some food too, and send them on their way, I guess. Unless anyone else wants any other questions. Or needs to refill some kind of blood vials. I don't know. They already got holes in their neck.
They do not have holes in their neck.
No, not yet.
They do not have holes in their neck, not yet.
Quint,
Is there
what
another
did you
door
find
around
on
the
the
front?
bodies?
Oh, I didn't know you wanted me to search these cows. Let me go in this room and...
No,
The
no, the
bodies you're
bodies,
standing in
the
front
dead
of.
bodies.
Oh, sorry. Let
They're
me...
gone. They left. You might still be able to catch them though.
We loot up.
All right. So you want to check out the
Yeah, Quinn wants
bugbear?
to check out this. Roll this stretchy goblin over and look at it.
All right. So let me pull up said stretchy goblin, otherwise known as a domovoy, slightly modified from the original, but not too terribly. He has invisibility at will, and 3 times a day he can do darkness, dimension door, and haste. And so that's what he did. Haste on the bugbear, darkness, and then dimension door to get out of there.
If I die again, can I come back as that dude?
The description: the domovoy enjoy violence and bone breaking. This makes them useful to more delicate creatures that need enforcers. That's their description. All right, so you search him, and other than the clothes that it's wearing, it's not carrying anything. It was fighting with its fists when it did attack. And let's see. Somebody want to make a what kind of check would that be?
Nature?
Survival check.
We only learn through failure. Oh, I did okay. -2, baby.
All right. Well, with a 17, that's plenty enough to know a little bit about the domovoy. The domovoy, from what little you know, are largely used as infiltrators and spies, because in addition to their ability to become invisible at will, they also have the ability to alter their visual appearance at will,
Ugh.
alter self at will.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out how to fix that weapon I got. I have that moonsteel weapon, but it doesn't equip because it's not chosen as a rapier, and it does extra damage against shape changers, but I couldn't use it.
This would not be classified as a shape changer. It's an innate spell as opposed to like a werewolf or whatever. But yeah, we can get that fixed afterward. So that's the only thing that you find with the domovoy, and the bugbear is just carrying a large morning star and his crappy hide armor.
If we harvest a domovoid, do we get any stretchy meats or?
You get some really tough jerky.
Can we get the
Bungee
flubber?
cord,
A
natural
big
bungee.
blob of flubber? boink, boink, boink. You know the little ball you got? Yeah, boink, 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 boink.
But yeah, neither of them really has any. Let me see.
There's something around the corner over there?
If he's stretchy, wouldn't he make a really great latex mask though? Because I think customer support bot's getting more and more sensitive that he doesn't have a face. So if I'd be allowed to like stretch his horrible visage over my own.
Blink loves this idea and volunteers to help.
Yes, please help me.
Nothing else, you can use the beard.
Whoever did the conversion kind of.
You can either put it on your head, on top of your head, or down below, either one.
I leave that up to Blink.
And Quint volunteers that he has 10 feet of string if you need to use it.
Oh yeah. We're doing a war crime.
I have some string if you need to
Okay.
lace anything up.
So the converter failed to put in the description of the treasure that these things are carrying. So thankfully I have the PDF. Because they do actually have some treasure. So on the Domovoy, you see two small pouches. And why is that unidentified?
Where on the Domovoy do we see this?
Just on his waist. You know, he
It
has a
was
couple of
like in the
under his
front?
loincloth. Under his loincloth. That's where they're at.
And the bugbear you find in his boot.
Oh.
There's a little pouch, and there's a small potion in there.
So who's pulling that out of his boot?
Oh yeah, Blink will do it. He
So
doesn't
should
care.
be added to the party sheet now.
Oh, that's how you say boot in common.
It was hiding in his boots. Yeah. So there in the pouch is some gemstones. They're fairly small, and a little bit of coinage. There's actually two small pouches, and the money's kind of split up between the two. And the pouches don't look like they may have belonged to the Domovoy. They're a different material type and make and manufacture than all the rest of his clothes and everything else.
What kind of potion is that? Tyrion says.
And Blink uncorks it and sniffs and like tastes a little bit. It's a potion of healing.
Oh, I'm kind of wounded. Do you mind if I drink it?
It's all yours.
So you can just delete it out of there.
Okay.
You get a vial. Mark it down.
Oh yeah, if you need a vial, he licks the bottle clean. There you go, nice and clean for you.
Why is your tongue so long?
Because I'm a
He's a
halfling.
They're known for their Gene Simmons
So
esque tongues.
We can lick the bottom of the honey pot.
I am so glad I don't have flesh.
Hey, Blink, give me a perception check right there.
Okay.
Not bad.
I would like to use my inspiration on this roll since it's almost 11 o'clock.
Can't take it with you.
All right, that's good. So you, from where you're standing over there, something kind of catches your eye with that wall to the north. It almost looks like the floor goes beyond the wall, like the wall is on top of the floor, as opposed to the floor butting up against the wall. It doesn't seem to align properly.
There's no caulk there. There's no caulk.
All right. Blink just goes up and starts like messing around with it. He doesn't say anything yet. He wants to see if he can open it.
Give me an investigation check. Oh yeah. So you are able to open it. You tinker around with it a little bit, and these secret doors open.
Oh,
And you can
Oh,
see a passage
guys,
extend up
guys,
ahead
look
of you.
what I found.
oh, well, here's your. Oh, so Tyrion's gonna move up next to Blink, hand him the potion vial, and say, "Oh, a secret door, is it? Nice. Let's go that way."
Tyrion, your voice is so manly.
Everybody's moving.
Yeah, I canceled it. I realized I was being a butt.
All right, so you can see up the hallway. The hallway does extend a little bit to the left, and then up ahead there's a T intersection, and then ends in a wall.
Hey,
All
let me
right.
go look. Tyrion's got the drift globe and it's all shining. Still daylight.
I picture that he'd somehow like braided his beard into a basket that holds it. You know what I mean? Like,
Like a little sling. And is going to step up and look down. Shine the light.
Okay. The light goes, and it looks like you can see up ahead the back of another secret door. It looks like this little hallway was kept secret, so you're kind of in the pathway of the secret door.
Do we not
Another little
have lighting on Tyrion?
Tyrion is not carrying any light source right now.
Drift globe. Daylight.
and he's all oiled up, so it's extra shiny.
So
Is
where
that
is
something I can apply?
The
No,
oil? Yeah, I think so.
Drift globe?
there. You have daylight now.
Oh, okay. And just gonna
Still
keep moving
using the
forward.
lantern of revealing, even though his light is brighter.
Yep, just for the invisibility. All right, you can see up at this little T intersection. Um, there's a wall here and a wall here, and then a wall to the north.
We should probably remember that that light is advertising us as much as assisting us.
Is this wall, this archway to the left, is that the what you said was the back of the secret door?
No, where Tarian is where you saw what
Okay,
you
that's
is
what I
the back
thought.
of the secret door.
So is there anything over here?
It looks like a dead end. You don't see anything in there.
There's no like two eye holes like the other side of a painting that's hanging in a hallway.
Nope. From there, Tegas, you can see on this side again what appears to be the back of a secret door. So there's one in front of Tyrion, and there's now kind of one on that side. Let me turn off token lock because there's no need right now.
Oh, okay, good. So this is another, looks like another dead end here?
We're up where you're at. You're kind of right where that back end of the secret door business is. You're behind the back end of the secret door. And this will actually be a good spot to end for tonight, 11 o'clock. And we'll pick up here
2 weeks. 2 weeks we'll be back.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so yeah, good session. Thanks, Manicure. That was fun. So tomorrow night, over on Rob's stream, which is right here, I will be running Rime of the Frost Maiden. A couple of these guys are the players over there. That's 8 o'clock Eastern. Sunday, All Things Fantasy Grounds, also over on Rob's stream. I'll be co-hosting stuff about Fantasy Grounds and Dungeons and Dragons and etc. And then Tuesday, Princes of the Apocalypse. And then start over. I'll do Jungles of Cholt, and then we'll be back here on this one. So that's it. We're gonna get out of here. We're gonna start our weekend. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
I do want to give a quick
Yeah,
shout
go
out to
ahead.
Manicure. He really saved my bacon this week. Saved me from at least 60 hours of work by helping me with a program. I have 139 NPCs inputted, ready to go, and then I couldn't get them to work. We're gonna have to re-put them all in again. So he saved my butt. So hats
Wow.
off to Manicure. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
I didn't even know you
Thanks.
programmed, man. That's crazy, but yeah, good work.
Once in a rare moon. Once in a blue moon.
Thanks everybody for hanging out. If you like what you see and you're not a follower, please hit that follow button. If you're on YouTube and you're watching this, make a comment because it's just going to surprise the holy hell out of me. That's why. Just make a comment that you saw that you said to make a comment, and I'll be dumbfounded. I'll be dumbfounded.
Yeah, comment
Right.
next time we'll go topless.
That's it. We're out of here. See you guys. Take it easy.
Night all.